Fresh, juicy pineapple, freshly squeezed for maximum flavor. A bitter red component, added in a different way. Dark rum, and a delicious flavored rum. Today we're making a pair of Jungle Birds. Jungle Bird cocktails. It's cocktail time. Hi friends of cocktails. The Jungle Bird is an interesting cocktail, combining tiki and aperitivo vibes into one drink. I'll make the classic version first, then I'll show you my version, made in a blender with a dusting of Campari. But before we do that, it's celebration time. We'd like to take a quick moment to mark a special occasion.
By the time you're watching this, Cocktail Time is already 2 years old. It's only right to celebrate.
But what Sasha doesn't know is that we'd like to share with you a special occasion, his birthday.
So, on the day we're shooting this episode, it's Sasha's birthday, and it's only fitting that his birthday is so close to the birthday of the Cocktail Time channel, because without his editing skills and his camera work, Cocktail Time wouldn't be the same. Stop it.
And not only he's good with the camera, he's great as being a good friend, and of course, and being a cute human.
So, Sasha, thanks for everything you do for us, for the Cocktail Time community, for everyone around you. And happy birthday, man. We love you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Good English. Thank you, guys.
We practiced.
Now let's make some fluffy Jungle Bird, right?
Seriously, it's 2 years since we started Cocktail Time, and we'd love it if you share your favorite moment in your cocktail journey in the comments below the video. Right? Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and let's bring on year number 3.
Okay, back to the Jungle Bird. Here's what you'll need. Like mentioned, the curious thing in this drink is the red, bitter Italian liqueur Campari. You'll also need a dark or blackstrap rum, amusing plantation original dark, double-aged rum. The sweet and sour balance will come from equal amounts of lime juice and a 1-to-1 demerara syrup. As seen in the intro, another key ingredient is a tiki staple, pineapple juice. And the Cocktail Time standard, a few drops of saline solution to enhance all the flavors. If you'd like to use fewer ingredients, you could combine the sweetener and pineapple juice with Liber & Co.'s pineapple gum syrup, according to the recipe on their bottle. 60% of the syrup is the juice from ripe, cold-pressed pineapples. All natural gum arabic gives the syrup a unique richness and viscosity. Get it through the link in the description. You'll see the recipe I'm using written out as I tell you about the Jungle Bird. Let's make it. This cocktail dates back to the 1970s, when it was served as a welcome drink to visitors of the former Hilton Kuala Lumpur. It was created by Jeffrey Ong at the hotel's aviary bar, which explains the Jungle Bird name. The first written recipe calls for generic dark rum. This was later updated to feature Jamaican rum, while many bartenders choose to use blackstrap rum for its richness and to stand up to the bitterness of the Campari. I think a good dark rum can still shine through, if you don't overpower it with other ingredients. That's why modern updates include scaling down the pineapple juice from its original 4 ounces, changing the cocktail from a tall, resort-like drink to a complex sipper that spotlights Campari's bitterness, appealing to the palate of the Amaro happy bartenders. Eventually, the drink found its way over to the influential speakeasy Milk and Honey, and from there it has become an industry standard. Jungle Birds are sometimes served inside a porcelain bird-shaped vessel. I don't have that, so I think this will do just fine. Garnish with pineapple leaves, a cocktail cherry, and add a straw. I already know I'll enjoy this. Let's take a few sips before making the Cocktail Time version. Tropical aromas of rum, pineapple, and some herbal freshness leads into the initial bitterness of the Campari, balanced by the sweet combo of rum, pineapple, and subtle molasses. A pleasant bitterness that stays on the aftertaste is the flagship of the tropical Jungle Bird. I can just see myself finishing this off on a paradise beach somewhere, with tropical vibes all around, and a gentle breeze in my mustache.
Isn't that a bit too much?
Yeah, probably. Let's instead make a fluffy Jungle Bird. Here are the ingredients. For some extra tropical flavors, I'll use Plantation Stiggins Fancy Pineapple Rum. According to their website, they take Victoria pineapple, peel and cut each one by hand. Then they infuse the rinds in the 3 Stars rum, which is then further distilled in Ferrand copper pot stills. Separately, they infuse the fruit itself in their original dark rum. Then the distillate and the fruit infusion are blended together to make Plantation Stiggins Fancy Pineapple Rum. If you'd like to grab a bottle, you'll find it over at Curiara.com. through the link in the description and the pinned comment. We'll still need pineapple and lime juice, but for sweetness I'll use honey syrup. Instead of Campari, we'll add Peychaud's bitters, and for a dry, fresh note, Fino sherry. Saline will be added again as well, but here I'm also adding xanthan to keep the frothy blended cocktail stable for longer. We'll also add ice and infuse the whole cocktail with apple smoke before blending, and for a bitter finish, Campari powder. Great thing about Campari powder is that you can use it for non-alcoholic cocktails too, since we'll cook off the alcohol in the process. Speaking of, here's how to make Campari powder. What we essentially need to do is get rid of the liquid on low temperature and pulverize or grind what we're left with into fine powder. So I'm adding 10 ml of Campari into each of my small molds. For reference, these are 4 cm or 1.5 inches in diameter, but you can of course use different molds. And this can be done with other liqueurs as well, as long as their sugar content is high enough. As for the temperature and the time, low and slow is the key, because you don't want the sugar to caramelize and turn brown, which would ruin the appearance of the powder. It worked for me at 70 degrees Celsius or 160 Fahrenheit for 6 hours. It can be different for you depending on several factors, so be patient. And unlike barbecuing, where if you're looking, it ain't cooking, you want to open the oven a few times to let out the evaporated moisture. Once I saw bubbles that kept their shape, I knew it was dehydrated enough. Leave it cool completely, and once solidified, you can take it out of the molds and into a mortar to grind it with a pestle. If it's still a soft gel to the touch, place it back in the oven for a few more hours. Once you have your fine, even powder, place it in a sprinkler container, which will also allow you to apply it on top of the cocktail. If the powder clumps together after a while, due to the sugar content and the moisture in the air, just shake the container and you'll be able to sprinkle out the finer powder again. As for pineapple, if you're producing it yourself, get one that's nice and ripe, because it has more sugar and juice. And if you want to take a zero-waste approach, you can use the leftover pulp to make fruit leather, like we did with the horchata pina colada. From the pineapple skins, you can make pineapple oleo sacro, like we did for the pineapple cordial, or use it in a punch. And you can freeze the nice looking pineapple leaves to use them as garnish for tropical cocktails. But for this cocktail, the Campari garnish powder will be enough. Let's make the fluffy Jungle Bird cocktail. Add all ingredients except Campari into the blender, starting with 45 ml or 1.5 ounce of our rum. Follow that with an equal amount of pineapple juice, 45 ml or 1.5 ounce. Blending freshly squeezed pineapple juice will give the cocktail a nice frothy mouthfeel. And if you want to keep the texture throughout the cocktail for longer, we need to add xanthan gum. 0.4 gram will be enough. For the balance of sweet and sour, I'll add equal amounts of honey syrup and lime juice, 15 ml or half an ounce of each. Lime super juice would of course work as well. So the cocktail still keeps its bitter backbone and the red color. Add bitters, this time not in dashes, but 7.5 ml or 1/4 ounce of Peychaud bitters. Next, equal amount Fino sherry. As the driest and palest of the traditional varieties of sherry, it will give us subtle dry and fresh notes. To enhance the flavors, 2 drops of saline solution. And to chill and dilute, somewhere between 30 and 40 grams of ice. Last ingredient, smoke. I'll place the Smokufu smoker on top and torch a small amount of apple wood chips to add some smoke into our vessel. Once you've got enough smoke, close the lid and start blending to mix everything and crush the ice. In the meantime, grab your glass filled with ice from the freezer. Pour it in the glass and allow the foam to settle just a bit before you dust it with Campari powder. You can use stencils to create different shapes when adding powder on top of the cocktail, but I'll just give it a nice, generous coating. We made Campari peels for the Matrix Negroni. Now we have Campari powder for the fluffy Jungle Bird. Any other ideas for this Italian classic? But let's first try the cocktail. Herbal and fruity on the aroma, with more pineapple than with the classic. As you take a sip, the Campari crystals melt on your tongue, providing a well-known bittersweet sensation. Rum, sweet pineapple, and dry sherry are highlighted by the creaminess of the cocktail, making it a real treat. Honey and smoke join the party on the aftertaste. To bring a flavor I can only describe as smoked candy. I love it. As you drink, the foam will still want to separate a bit, but you can take a straw and you mix it up. To keep the creaminess throughout the drink, this will also mix in the Campari, evolving the flavor and color of the fluffy Jungle Bird. if you like tropical, aperitif, or creamy cocktails. Actually, if you like cocktails in general, I think you'll love this one. Let me know if you gave it a try, and I'll see you next week. Here's to year number 3. Cheers!